Peace be upon you all people around the world, and welcome to a new tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to use JavaScript and HTML and CSS in web development. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to build the sliding pictures like a gallery. Just enter and start sliding pictures from left or right. So as you saw on the screen, there is this little text up here saying 1 and 3. It's like there is 3 pictures and we are now at the first picture. And the bottom, just like a caption text that tell us something about the picture or anything that we want. As you see at the bottom that I wrote C++ language, and when I click here to the right or to the next one, it's going to display up here 2 and 3, and here Python language in the picture in the middle, and also for the last one 3 and 3 and JavaScript language. But as you see here, we have 3 pictures in this field, and we get at the end, or we reach to the end 3 and 3. So if we click again here, it's going to display us to the first picture or return us to the first picture. And if we on the first picture and we click on previous, it's going to return us to the last picture. So how are we going to do that? It's quite easy. Actually, today I'm not going to deep in styling, because I'll leave that to you. I'm just going to give you the basics to create, such as this sliding pictures or gallery, and you could fill it with texts instead of pictures, like as you see up at the top here or the bottom, and then implementing your project. First of all, I created already this slideshow folder, and I created inside of it 3 files, one for HTML, JavaScript, and the last one for the styling. And I created here a folder and added some folders, pictures to it, just to use them. We're not going to use them all, just 3 or 4 picture as a maximum. Alright, let me here open this on the web. As you see, it is still a blank page, contains no contents. And also I'll drag it here into my Sublime text editor, because I love to write codes on this beautiful text here, or beautiful editor. Alright, we're going to start by the index and type in HTML and hitting tab. It's going automatically to give us this boilerplate. At the title, I'm going to give it like a slide box or slide enough, and I'm going to call the styling. So here I love to use comments, so that's why I'm using comments, and call it style sheet like this. And I'm going to copy this like this, and here link style.css. I call it here because all in the same directory. No need to add other directories there. And here inside of the body, I'm going to call the JavaScript. So I'll remove all of this. Here are the script, and here script. Then all the source main.gc. Up to now we're good. Now we're going to create the content. We want inside this content to have something like the container of this slideshow that contains everything inside of this slideshow. So I'll go with div.container, and in your project, if you want to implement this sliding boxes or sliding pictures into just a part of your website, just this entire div or this entire section just implemented inside of that part that you already position it in the way that you want it to be. As you see here on the screen, div.container or slide container. Let me go here, slide container. Let me go with slides better. Hit tab is going to give us this, and inside of here I want the slides, so dot slides. And here inside the slides, I'm going to enter my content that I want to be to use it. If you want texts, images, paragraphs, anything you want to implement inside of here, like other divs, or other content, big content with drag buttons on all of that and let them move, also you could do that. Inside of this slide, I'll go just as I show you at the beginning, just using like this. I'm not going, as I said, build the same as this, because I don't have I could not memorize all of the same stuff that I had wrote in that files of that project. Alright, here div dot number slides, or number, or slide number. It's better to start with slide number. Inside of here, let me return it back. I'll go with use just 4 pictures, so 1 and 4, and I'll call the image source. I'll call some image from here, like HTML or images. And here I'll do like the caption text .txt, and I'll give a HTML, the structure of the web, structure of the web, of the page, for instance, of the page better, like this. Then I'll go and copy this 4 times to call 4 times that. So let me make this small. Now I have 4, so this is the second one. I'll call CSS, and here the style of a page. And for 3, I'll go with JavaScript, and I'll call it for instance, the language of the web language, for instance, language. And the 4, I'll say, for instance, something from here like math. I'll go with math. I'll say here is important in all fields, like this. Now it's better. I have here 4 pictures, as you see, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now if I went, or I'll go now to the browser and reload the page, it just, as you see, all the pictures, if I small size it, as you see here, it's not by something cool. And if I make them this to its normal width, I have here 1 and 4, the structure of the page, and 2 and 4, and all of that stuff. So up to now we've done with with the HTML. Now I'll go to CSS, or the styling sheet, and I'll start editing all of that. I'll start with the container, slide container. Before that, I'll go to the body, and I'll make some margins 0, and also some padding to 0, and also the font family, I'll let it also to Arial. I love these lines, Arial, and sans serif. Sans serif, like this. Now I'll jump to this. I'm sorry, something wrong. Like this. In this sans serif, I'll just make the position to relative, and I'll give it some margin, like 5% all around, on 0 from right or left. So if I went here and reload the page, it is pushing at the top a little bit, like 5%. And now I'll go to the slides and add some styling to them. To the slides, I'll go, just leave them as it is. I'm not going to change anything now to them. I'll just go to the number, slide number, and also the image right here, and also the text. All of those I want to iterate them like this. And I could here just if I multiple images on the page, I could just or say the image that inside of this slide div. Need this, I'll make to like display. I'm going to make it to none, but not now. I will show you that later. You could just make it display now or black, because we're going to change that in JavaScript. Because so it's not important, you could just make it empty field. Alright, here that, and here also dot. Let me put this image at the end here, then give it a width of 600 pixels, and you could adjust any width you want that depend on your projects and on that. The slides, that number, I'm going to make the position to absolute to both of them, and also just this, better, like the position to absolute. And for the text, I want the bottom to be 0, so I'll go position absolute and bottom 0, because I want it to be at the bottom of the picture. And also for here, we could just make the top 0, because I want it to be at the top of the picture, like here the 3 at the top, and the caption text is at the bottom of the picture. Now I'll add few things to just this. Now I'll go and reload the page. So if I reload it, as you see the pictures, let me resize them like 300 better, just to make them small. Now they are all small. As you see here, the 3 and 4, it is at the top, and the text, all the texts are here on at the bottom, one on another. So that's what position absolute does. Up to now, I'll go to create this here, the next and previous buttons. I'll jump to here, I'll go to index HTML. Inside of the slides container, I'll do I'll remove this. I'll go with the class of previous just abbreviation for previous, and I'll go on click, run for me this add slide or plus slides like this. You could name this function you want you want. So I'm going to explain why I added here -1, and for here I'll just go with this, like this symbol smaller than or greater than, just to refer to the left. And you could just go and look out in W3 school or any symbol, just copy the code and paste it inside of that, or you just go with letters like P or anything you want. So I just went with this here symbol, and you could choose any one you want, any symbol you want. So I added here -1 because I want, when we click on the prev, something occur and subtract this -1. To add this -1 to it, I return a backstab. So this is what we're going to use. Actually, we're going to use this in JavaScript, and you're going to understand why I use it here. So I'll leave it up to there to explain it more in more details. So let me copy this, and here I'll leave it positive. I'll go here with next. next, like this. And here I'll change this to this symbol, going to the right instead of to the left. I'll copy this perf, and next I'll go to style. At the bottom here, I'll say add styling to right and left, so right, left things, like this. Now prev and next, I'm going to make the position of them also absolute, and the top I want them to be in the center of a picture like this. I'll give them a padding of top and bottom like 4 pixels, a rail left to, for instance, 8 pixels. I'll go with the font weight to bold, and font size to 35 pixels, like this. So if I reload the page, as you see them, they are right here, one on another. I'll go with this next one here. I'll let it flow to the right, so I'll go with the right. I'll give it just 5%, so it's going to float in here as you see it. I'll make the cursor of a pointer just to inform the user that this thing is clickable. I don't want to, when the user selected, to be select as you see here. I don't want that. So I'll go user selector, I'll make it to none, like this. I think now everything's better. So if I want to select them, it's not going to select, and if I hover them, it's going to give me that little hand on them. I'll copy them both. I'll go here at the bottom. I'll say when the user hover them, do something to them. Hover. I'll go with the background color with RGB 0, 0, 0, and 0.5. Just set the color to like this. Now when I hover them, it's give me that little dark on them. We can make the color to white. So I think this is enough with with HTML and CSS. Now I'll jump to JavaScript to create or let these pictures be in the center and all that. Let me just go up here in slide number. I'll do with not slide number here. I'll do text align to center. Now they are all in the center, and this here I'll just let it float again. Now cool, everyone it's got its position and the picture are in the middle. Pictures are in the middle. Now I'll jump right away to JavaScript, and inside of here I'll create a variable, the slide index, that I want to slide. I just want slide 1 per each time, so I'll do like a slide index equal to 1. Then I'll create a function that contains the slide index. So a slideshow, I'll call it slideshow slide index. Let me go with this. It's not correct, like this. Now I'll I'll call this function here, and I say to it, when you click on it, add one, and when I click on the next one, add a picture, or it display me to the next picture, and if I clicked on previous one, remove the last picture and give me back a step. And inside the function, as you see here, I'm giving it -1 and 1. So in here, just like give it an n, like an argument. In here, I'll call the show slide, or slide show, and I call the slide index, and I'm going to set it equal to the n after adding 1. So n like this, after adding it again to it. So it's like bring me this and add to it the n, and if it's positive, it's going to give me the next one, and if it's negative, it's going to reduce me a step instead of pushing me up. So that's it. To let it go and go back. Now I'll go to the function here and call this show slide here. Inside of this slide index, I'll just leave it an n. I'll go here with some variables like slides. I'll set it equal document dot get element by ID, or get and the name that I want now to work on, it is these slides here, but I wanted them to be slide like this. So I'm going now, I'll create a variable and I'll explain everything in a second. I called this slides just to let us let the program know where it's going to be back, or is going to be to the next picture. To be more understandable of that, I have to do more stuff in the code. So if n is greater than the slide's next length, here, like I'm saying, if the n, this n here inside the function, this argument is greater than the slide length. The slide length, I mean width, or the program understand it, how many slides in here. As you see, this is the fourth one, the first one, the second one, the third one, and this is the fourth one. The fourth one, like I have here, 4 slides. So the length of the slides actually here equal to 4. Okay, and the program is counting from 0, so it's like we have 0. I'm sorry, like we have 3. So we are saying if n is greater than the slide length, if this n is greater than this slides, I have just 4 slides, and this n, for instance, equal to 5. What the program is going to do here, in this case, I want to return back to the first picture. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'll go slide index equal to 1. I'll return this to the first picture, like this. Second thing here is if n it is smaller, so let me, than 1. If n is smaller than 1, as you see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the first one. This is the one. This is the one that we have. If the n is smaller than this, like 0, what we wanted to do, we click in a picture and there's nothing before that. We want so we reach that point to 0. So what we want to display when it's smaller than 1, we want to go up to this picture and display it again, or to this slide and give it back again. So that here I'll do slide index, in this case, is going to be equal the length of the slides. The length, as I explained already, the program understands it as how many divs that I have, or how many of these slides I have. This is the first one, second one, third one, and the fourth one. So it's going to be equal the slides dot length, like this, just this. Now I'll let it loop to the infinite, how many times we reach the first one and how many times we reach the last picture. We want to loop and make it infinite, not stop ever, not just by reaching to the first time to the first picture and then displaying the last picture, then the code is going to stop. No, I want to loop, not stop over this process. So I'll go with the for loop. I'll go with the I. I'll give it a value of 0. Then I'll go with I. I'll say while this I is smaller than the slide's length, dot length, increment the I just to make it infinite. What you want to do, I want to grab these slides and give it that infinite I and go to its style. I'll go to display. In display, I'm going to display all to none, hide all the content, all the divs. I'm going to hide them. All of these divs right here is going to hide right away. So if I went to the page, reload, all of them, all of the pictures and the texts hide. What I want to display, I just want to display one of them. To do that, I'll go out of the for loop. Right here, I'll do the slides. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, bring me the slide index, this slide index right here, and subtract from 1 slide index minus 1. That style, and that's mean we hide all of the slides. We hide right now, display all of these slides to none. It's like not showing anymore on the web page. But we're going back to main.gc and saying to us, display every one, just not the previous one. All right. That's it. That's basically what we are seeing here. So that style dot display equal to black. I'm going to display them black, or you could display in flags, gray, whatever you want. Actually, not important. Just now I'm showing you the basics, how I'm going to work that. All right, like after displaying everything to none, hiding all of that, we're going back here and doing slides, slide index, subtract from 1. So the slide index, just to remember it, it is start from the 1 as shown up there. And when we subtract from 1, it's going to display kind of the first one. As I said, the program is counting from 0, so it's going to display the first picture that we want. So if I save this, I went to the web page and reload it. As you see, this is the HTML1, and if I went here to see if it's true, as you see here, the first slide, it has the HTML picture. If I now clicked on the next, it should display the second picture, and it is the CSS. As I expected, it's working perfectly. This is, as you see here, the texts. I could push them a little bit. I went into style and text. I can do right to 50%, for instance, and also here. You could just play around with all of this stuff. Like this. Now it's like pushing in. Let's adjust with this 1 and 4. So if I clicked show on 4 and that style of page, and the text is here is showing inside of the picture because we give it a position of absolute. If we want to remove out of the picture, just get it off that position absolute. As you see here now, it is floating to whatever we want to be, and it is out of the picture. As you see, this is the math one. It is out of the picture. And this HTML just had the form of PNG, so that's why it is, or the PNG, that's what it's showing, like it displaying on it, but it is out of the picture. So when I click the first one, the third one, now I reach to the fourth one, the last picture. So when I click here, it's going to display me the first picture. So as expected, there ain't no errors or anything. At the same time here, if I click back, it's going to display me the last pictures, and that's actually what I want to do, or what I wanted to do. So now I think it's just working perfectly. You could just add a bit of CSS like styling, adding colors, adding fades, reposition all of this text up here, and also for this by creating new divs, new stuff, and you could make things more better. What I want to show you in this tutorial, just how to let these buttons here work correctly without any problems. And that's it, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next tutorials. Peace out.